This is Pat Barrett. I'm wearing my Appreciate and Support Your News Outlet, your journalists who bring you investigations and news about the world around you and what's happening in it, and have a real interesting serendipitous, I like that word, serendipitous thing here. A few videos ago, I told you about the two recorders in Maricopa County, the former recorder, Richard, and the current recorder, Heap. The county recorder is for Maricopa County, is the person who runs the elections in the county in conjunction with a board of supervisors. The current, as I told you before, the current recorder is someone who is a MAGA Republican. And the former recorder was a conservative Republican. 4 out of 5 members of the supervisory board are Republicans. But the current recorder, Justin Heap, is in a court battle with all of them because he wants to, oh, there goes my dog. He wants to do some things with the voting mechanism, because he controls that, the voting mechanism, the way votes are counted, the way elections are held, etc. This is, by the way, voting, elections, I should say, specifically elections, are under the control of every state, not the federal government. Well, Donald Trump is trying to federalize elections, make them all under the control of the federal government. And this is so interesting because this is one of the bones of contention between conservatives and liberals in this country. Because it wasn't until the federal government began sending marshals, federal marshals, to voting sites in the Deep South to ensure that Black people could register and vote. And this was considered outrageous by conservatives. The federal government acting as tyranny, telling the states how to vote. Well, that's because those states were keeping about 10% of the population of this country, at least that portion of it, which was vast majority, living in the South, from voting. That's why that was done. But the elections were still up to the states. Well, so what we have now is a MAGA Republican who supports Trump's belief that he lost the 2020 election. Now, if you recall, that election focused a great deal on Maricopa County, right here, where I've lived almost all my life. Fortunately, we have a journalist, and her name, if I can recap her career quickly so you'll realize that she really knows this subject very well, Yvonne Wingate Sanchez. And she is a staff writer for The Atlantic. Now, The Atlantic is a magazine, and for many, many years, it was a good magazine. But aside from an article here and there, it was not deeply involved in American politics. It has become the foremost journal of American politics now. She also worked for the Washington Post, which, until Jeff Bezos of Amazon fame took it over, was one of 2 foremost papers in the country, the Washington Post and the New York Times. So she worked for them, and she investigated this whole idea that the elections are rigged and the elections are full of fraud. There's no evidence for this whatsoever. And these people keep pushing it. We have a very famous representative of that viewpoint here in Arizona, Carrie Lake. she ran for governor, and she was a well-known and well-respected news broadcaster, believe it or not, until she got bitten by this MAGA political bug and ran for office. And she's still a pretty big figure in the Trump administration. So this reporter, Sanchez, it turns out she worked for 20 years for the Arizona Republic. So she's practically an Arizonan. And so she knows this whole thing. So what she writes about, and I'm going to try to summarize it here quickly for you, because Arizona is at this point, used to be a very Republican state. Before that, it was a very Democratic state. I also did a video recently on the fact that Arizona is progressive. In fact, that was the title of it. And we started out as a progressive state, politically. And then we became a Democratic state. Democratic Party ruled. And then after that, as people poured in here from the Midwest, it turned Republican. And now it has, with a large influx of Hispanic voters, it has gone to more of a swing state category or status, and the people are fighting very hard on both sides to make sure that the election goes their way. On the left, if you want to call, I don't see myself as a leftist, but I'm a Democrat, so I will say that. On the left, we want to see the election is fairly held. The right has a view that the election will be fair as long as they win. That, I mean, I'm practically quoting them. It's fair only if they win, okay? So what's going on with this? The current recorder offered a lawyer, to come in and arbitrate between him, the recorder, and this board of supervisors. Remember, mostly Republican, but they're saying, no, you're not doing this right. You're going to screw up the election. And so, he took away some of the equipment they had because they had taken it away from him before that. It's back and forth, right? So this arbitrator, fair, balanced, neutral person, who happens to be a huge figure in the 2020 election, was the Stop the Steal movement. How is that neutral observer? I mean, that's crazy, but that's how they work, Well, we want someone neutral, which means someone who agrees with me. That's their attitude, period. It sounds stupid, it sounds crazy, but that is how they operate, okay? So the problem for us is that us, meaning people that want a free and fair election, is that for some years now, the MAGA people have been infiltrating local offices across the states, all of them. People loyal to President Trump, loyal to the MAGA movement, have been infiltrating public offices and so forth in order to control not just the state legislatures, but various offices like this recorder office, which is crucial in voting. So let me give you a quick rundown. The way we vote, the classic way is you go to a polling station on election day, you write down on a ballot your choice, and you put it in the box. Alternately, you can go in early to a polling place and vote. Also, you can simply mail your ballot. Well, that's become the fulcrum of this whole thing, because a lot of MAGA people, and this is, again, something crazy that they believe, if their person is in the lead early in the voting returns, on election day. And election night, they start telling, who's, what the count is. And they begin counting ballots. And this can take anywhere from, overnight to a couple of weeks, depending on the states. Again, states control this. They all have different rules, which makes things really complicated. But MAGA people believe that if their guy is in the head in the lead, that if he later, as more votes come in, he falls behind and the other person, the non-MAGA person, the Democrat, whoever, begins to take the lead. Oh, that's fraud. Look, our guy was winning. Now he's losing? No way. This is the 10-year-old mentality. That's what you're dealing with these people. And so these folks are found now. Another video I'm going to make is my time working in a John Birch Society bookstore. And I'll give you a little homework. Look up the John Birch Society. It was so conservative that the founder of the movement conservative, the modern conservative movement, William F. Buckley, he threw them out of the conservative movement. They were so far to the right. These people are bad. And I worked around them for a number of years. But this is way back in the early 60s. So Stephen Miller was the person who, is very famous now he's Trump's right-hand man. People come and go in Trump's orbit, but Stephen Miller has been there from the beginning. And he is the co-founder of America First legal foundation. And this is where this recorder, Justin Heap, got his attorney from. And his attorney represents Heap in all these court battles. So you get, this thing is really stacked. The county attorney in Maricopa County is a Republican. He's very alarmed by what Heap is doing. So this complicates things for people like me. I'd like to just take all the Republicans and put them in a big pile, say, you guys are all out to destroy our Constitution, our country. But you've got a lot of Republicans that aren't going along with this crap. Anyway, life is complicated, in case I didn't point that out to you. So this business of having a recorder and a board of supervisors, worked out fine for decades until Trump. See, Trump, everything Trump touches dies, is the name of a book some guy wrote way back when Trump was first elected. He just ruins everything he touches. It's including the reflecting pool in Washington. If you follow politics much, and I'm kind of thinking, if you watch these at all, you must be a person who does. People sponsoring Justin Heap was a Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's right-wing Christian outfit. And the primary coming up here in Arizona, July 21st, very important. And there's concern that places are going to be a mess. A lot of poll workers are dropping out because they fear retribution threats from this Justin Heap. This is what MAGA does. They use violence and the threat of violence to intimidate people. So stay tuned. We'll see July 21st, see what happens. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Thank you.